Okay, today I'm going to be streaming GIMP, Warp Transform, Layers, Smudge tool. So here's the plan. We're going to do Warp Transform first because that's my favorite tool, and I'm going to show you how I like to edit pictures with it. So I'm going to take some stuff I've made with Stable Diffusion. Let's just make sure this is going, and I'm just going to edit them like I normally do. Okay, so that's good, that's going. Just copy that, and I don't need that open, so just post that in my Discord. Oh, I guess I didn't copy it right. Okay, whatever, I'll just post it later. Okay, so I got some pictures, things to fix. So Stable Diffusion's really cool. We'll do something from here. So these are the pictures of people I've made, mostly ladies. I mean, all of them are ladies. I made a couple guys too, but they're not in here. But anyways, these are cool pictures, but I don't know if you can notice, but the hands are pretty bad on some of them. That hand is okay, but this hand is like really weird. Extra fingers going. Just crazy. So some of them are better than others. Some of them have extra fingers, some of them have not enough fingers, so I'll just find one. This was like one of the first things I made on collage, so it'd be kind of fun to fix that. Okay, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So she's got the right amount of fingers here, but they're just like a bit too long, I guess. So Warp Transform is my favorite tool here. So I open the picture up in GIMP. So what I do is, when I go to my picture, I hold Control and I use the scroll wheel, and that lets you zoom in on the picture that way. So you can zoom in and out. If you hold Shift and scroll wheel, you can go side to side, and then regular scroll wheel up and down. So you can like navigate the canvas pretty quickly that way. So I grab Warp Transform, and I always have the hardness and strength like around 43. I guess the default is 50. So there's the defaults. 50, 50, 10. If you just installed it, it'll be like that. Interpolation, you want it to be no halo. So that's it gives you the least amount of blurriness from the tool. I just over time have drifted towards 43 instead of 50. So 50 is probably fine, but I just like it a little bit softer, I guess. So I'm just going to do that. So I'll just make it, I just kind of eyeball it when I do this. So I'm just going to shrink these fingers. I want the circle to be kind of like from this side of this finger to kind of over here. So I'll just make it smaller. I find that using the scroll on this is kind of pointless. Like it changes it by 0.01 decimal, which is like kind of pointless. So you have to just use your mouse and get it as good as you can. So I'm going to get it around the Z or the Z. So fingers just what? Oh yeah, and the spacing. You would need the spacing to be at 1. That's something I always messed up first. Okay, so hands are really hard to do. So all I'm going to do is, this is really long. I feel like this part of the hand might be a bit too long. The fingers are actually pretty good on this hand. This is one of the best fingers. But this might be too long. I'm just going to try this. Let's morph this down a bit. So and then I'll do Control Z. Was it better before or after? So and then Control Y to redo. So it's definitely better after what I did there. And I do a lot of that where I just like I try something and Control Z and just look at it, and then like was it better after or before? And this time it was better after, so we're going to keep that. We kind of stretch this part down when we stretch that, so we're going to zoom in here pretty close, and I'm just going to stretch this kind of back up, and we're going to do a lot of that. And I'm going to show you some stuff so you don't really have to do that as much. Let me just make sure I'm not peeking here. The audio has always been so difficult for me to get right. I'm trying though. Okay, so that hand is pretty good, I guess. It's not perfect. This little part of the elbow is sticking out too much. So the AI has problems with like where two objects meet a lot of the time. It sometimes messes up if there's too many things meeting together at one place. It really messes up that sometimes. And that's probably the problem with hands, is there's so many different pieces coming together. So I'm just going to stretch this corner down with a tiny, tiny one. This is about as small as you can get with the mouse. You can get to that. And then 1 is pointless, so you would never use that. Okay, so this is not perfect, but I'm not going to spend too much time on these pictures. I'm just going to do each one a little bit. And I guess we stretch that down. So stretch that back up. Oh, or maybe it's just like that on this picture. So it's like that on both sides. So anyways, I'll just stretch that. So I use this tool a lot. It's probably the main thing I use. This looks weird, but maybe it should be like that? I don't know. Let's make this quite big. I'm just kind of stretch this part up. I feel like it's way too far down. And then now it's just going to come in a bit. And the face on this one it's okay, I guess. This is kind of weird. The nostrils are not the same. Kind of like drew one kind of nostril on one side and then a different kind of nostril on the other side. So which one are we going to go with? The diagonal one or this flat one? Or like a hybrid. So this is as small as you can really use it. So it's a good example of... Yeah, that looks better. And then we'll just bring this one maybe down a little bit. Okay, that's fine. It's not perfect. It's a weird picture. So I guess her thumb is supposed to be behind that part of her. Or I guess it's curled in below her hand. So we don't really have to do that. This finger is just like, that one's too long. And this one might not be long enough. Or these two. So I'll just go in here. And first I'll shrink this finger a little bit. So I just need a size that kind of covers the finger and a little space around it. So 35, I guess. So just push that in there. And fingers are so hard to do. I always had the hardest time with hands. I still do actually have quite a hard time with hands. And these aren't going to be these won't be perfect. It's way harder to do on stream than when you're alone and you can just chill in between doing everything. But anyways, I'm not complaining. It's fine. So fingers are quite long and tube shaped. Obviously they have the creases where they bend, and then once you get the fingers kind of parallel, we'll do a bunch of this, so I'll explain it more later. But once you get them parallel, you just get the knuckles going, and then you go to the wrist and get kind of a curve there. Maybe I shrunk that one too much. Just bring that one in. Okay. Not quite perfect, but we'll move on to another picture, because we've been on this one for quite a while now. Like, let's say we want to get rid of the watermark here. This picture is so easy to do because background is just like a gradient. So we can just cram this thing into like a little nothingness. And so it's almost gone. So I'll show you another tool here. We'll let that happen. So all those warp transforms we did just got set in stone, sort of thing. So that's better than it was before. This could maybe come up even more. Anyways, let's get rid of this little thing. Let's grab our clone tool. So what this does is you can take, it just makes a brush of what you hold control and you click where you want to copy something from. So I want to copy some background. I'll reset this so it's the same as a fresh install. Okay, spacing, we'll just do that to 1 right away. Hardness and force. And turn those up a little bit. Okay, this is just an example of what it does. So as I went across, it started copying from here down over here. So obviously that looks terrible, but if we set it here and go straight across over here, boom, that's gone. It wasn't quite perfect. I guess it was slightly darker on this side. So I don't know, we'll try something. Undo. Make this a little smaller so it just covers it. Go close to it. And then we'll change opacity way down. And then we'll go to this side, we'll grab this little bit darker stuff, and we'll just put a bit of that on it too. Okay, and that covered it up. You can't even tell it was there. And it's a pretty cool picture. I really like the colors in the background and then the glowing weirdness of it. So pretty much done here. Luckily, this one has like the best hands. Like this is like top 10 hands for a standard. I always want to say standard deviation, but it's stable diffusion. But you know the acronyms are the same. But my brain. Okay, so yeah, whatever. That's good enough. A lot of it is just eyeballing it, and there's always Control Z or Control Z for everybody else. Okay, that's done. So we'll just export that. Okay, I'll close that because my memory's been really bad lately on this computer. So let's look for one with that one's quite a mess. Okay, we'll go for it. This is gonna be a challenge because well, there's the right amount of like digits on this hand, but they're all fingers. They're it's no thumb. And this one is just like, this one shake my head when I look at this. This is like a train wreck. But the rest of the picture is actually pretty good. So it's like got a better face. It's kind of weird there. But anyways, so the main point of the stream is to fix these pictures, and the hands are like the worst part every time. So what it's trying to do is it's trying to make a thumb here, which kind of makes sense. She would have a thumb there. This part here is just like not needed, really. It could be shrunk down quite a bit. And then I tried to do a finger here, which would kind of make sense if it was only that one, and then the rest of them made like we're good. So we can work with that, I think. There's the fingernail, I guess. So we're just going to duplicate the layer. We're going to really mess with this a bunch. So duplicate the layer. So what I want to do is, well, first I guess I could just put that fingernail on the thumb correctly. So there's the thumb coming up. Here's the wrist. Just like that. Bit of the thumb, the chubby part. Coming up here. So we're gonna get that fingernail. We're gonna need to have this a little bit smaller. Much smaller. And put that up way farther. So we'll just try to get this thumb to look halfway decent. Still quite a ways away from that. Well, we got the nail kind of there. So I think that's more what it was trying to do. Something like that. A bunch more. Okay, so her nail should be way farther up. I almost could have cut and pasted that one. Okay, well, it's better. Still not very good. But we're not going to worry about that really right now. We're just going to make sure it's like a digit sticking up more or less the right way. We can always fix it later. So this part of the hand here is, I think it'd just be better just to get rid of that completely right now. So we'll just commit to those changes. I'm going to hide the layer underneath, and I'll show you what I like to do here. So I grab the eraser. I'll put that at the default values too. So again, put the spacing to 1. Yeah, I'll just make it smaller. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to erase along this thumb, pretty much just like a straight line up and down. So I'll show you what I do after that. So I just get rid of that, and that. I want to get rid of all those bright pixels. Okay, that's good now. So we still have this layer underneath. So now what we can do, we can grab the warp transform and make the right size, kind of at the eye. Then we can morph this around. We can fix this line later with the clone tool. So this can move in without affecting this. And that makes things a lot easier to fix. So we'll just get rid of that thumb stuff. And then, how should this look? It's pretty hard to draw hands, right? It is for me, I guess. I think that was better, actually. Just gotta come in. More. I don't know. What I'm gonna do is just have it sort of like this. It's closer. And then how to get rid of this? It's so weird. So I'm just gonna do that. Now I want to fix this thing. So I should have it so this finger connects to the thumb, and this thing isn't here pretty much at all. That's gonna be tricky to do, but it can be done. So I think first what I'll do is I'll make it so I can stretch this line over to the thumb, because that's gonna have to be like that. There's nothing else in between the thumb and that finger. They're gonna be together. Okay. So same as last time, I'll erase. I think I have to. if I morph this over, it's gonna mess that up. Okay, so I made this change, but because we're working in the same area here, I have to merge them together and then reduplicate it. So we're going to do the same thing. But I need to be able to do the same thing a little bit differently this time, actually. I'm going to move the top layer this time onto the bottom layer. So we want to leave the finger alone. So we'll cut away this stuff, all this stuff, because we have another copy underneath. So we're just going to get that finger as good as we can, and we'll show that. Oops. And we're going to warp so smaller. I guess the finger is much longer than a thumb, so it should be like over here, right? Okay, so that's already looking a lot better than it was before. And this might be kind of easy because once we fix, obviously, this part of the hand, the lower part here, this should be easy because these fingers are all lined up mostly. So we need to get rid of this white spot. So I'm going to merge that together. I guess the other fingers will be slightly visible behind the hand. But I have to get rid of this and that. So, and I guess like this stuff too. So I'll do the same thing again, where I duplicate the layer, and I'm just going to erase around the stuff I want to keep. I have to make the eraser smaller so I can get in that crack. Get rid of all the bright pixels. Make this quite tiny. Oh, and this is all stretch from when we warped that a bunch, so we stretched all the dark pixels. Let's get rid of those mostly. Okay, so we'll take our warp and oops, I'm on the wrong layer here. We're going to go to the under layer and we're going to warp that stuff underneath it. Hide that. Nobody knows that's there anymore. Right under the rug. Perfect. There's a little bit of bright pixels left here. This is really hard. I'm going to turn the hardness down a little bit. Actually, maybe just the force. Now it's too soft. Okay, that's fine. Okay, so since we got the hand mostly cut out, what we'll do next is we'll add oh yeah, we have to fill in this. So I think the closest thing to the color that would be in here is like one of these things. Like this background or this background or this background. So I guess I could just trace this space that I want with the lasso tool. So that's here. Pre-select. You just draw the shape you want to select, and then you can actually move that. You can't do it. It's kind of hard to use GIMP sometimes. It's not completely intuitive. Like you think you could just drag the selection. Doesn't work. You have to go here and then change it to move selection. So we're gonna grab, I don't know, it's gonna be kind of dark because it's in behind a hand. grab. I don't know, we can always darken it, so I'll just grab this. That back to that mode. So I'll push Control C to copy, and then Control V to paste. And we only got a little thing here. Oh, because I had feather edges on. Okay, let me reset this. Do that again. Just put that back. Otherwise, you'll be confused later why it's not working. Okay, did the same thing, but whatever. We got our thing. And we're going to put it in there. We're going to make it a new layer. Layer to image size, so right click on the new layer you just made. Layer to image size. That's just so the yellow lines aren't in your face when you're trying to do it. So we're going to take our warp transform and just morph this dark spot into the right shape. You can press down on the edges to get rid of the featheriness of them, make them a little more solid, and then stretch it back out, get more darkness out of it. So, okay, that looks better. Still not great, but it's getting there. Okay, so I'm just gonna, if you've made some warps and you want to commit them, you can press this select tool and it does it. Okay, so that's what we did. There's our new layer. Should we make it darker? We can make it darker easily. We're gonna get the dodge / burn tool. We'll put the spacing on 1. Opacity 50-ish. Size down. And then we're gonna hold Control to make it darker. Normal click makes it brighter. Undo. So let's make that a bit darker. And that looks better, I guess. So I can morph it a bit so it fills in the space a little bit better. That's good enough. Okay, so I'm gonna merge that down. So I think next I'll take this finger that we've made, and this is, I'm going to copy it so it's more fingers. So I'll grab the freeze select. You can drag or you can click to create like a polygon. So it's much easier to select when you do the polygon. So I'll just grab, the finger. Okay, Control C, copy it, and then I'll paste it into a new layer. So, how should this finger be? I think it should be a little more curled up than this finger. I'm going to do layer to image size just to get that line out of my eyes so I can see it better. Okay. So, should it be below, or slightly above, or the same? Probably kind of like a little bit taller up and a little bit behind. So I'm going to curl it a bit so it's not exactly the same as the other finger. We curl it a lot actually. We want it. Okay, so I want this to be behind the first finger. Do I? Or do I want this to be the first finger? That's the question. That is a good question. This could be the first finger. What if I did that? And just stretched it so it fits. Yeah, that's not too bad. Let's see if I make the finger behind it darker. So make it smaller so it fits perfectly right on the finger. And we're not going to look at that finger, we'll just go hold control and just draw on it a couple times. You can also just turn the opacity up, but I like to do this. And then let's see that finger again. I think it's okay, but it's just not long enough. I don't know. You can still put it behind, but actually I think that's okay. Okay. That's alright, I guess. I mean, it's way better than the mess we had at the start. I can always work on it more later. So we just need a couple more fingers behind here, because it just looks weird how there's only two. And then we'll fix that part. I feel like the thumb is just kind of poking out funny still. I don't know. I'll just undo that and come back to that later. So I'll just do the behind this finger here. I think if I just grab kind of these finger edges, kind of stick them behind here, that's where they're going to go. Have them coming out kind of like that, I guess. I probably need the whole finger behind there. I guess that's what it was going for initially, was like a bunch of fingers behind there, and it turned into like one big finger. So I'll stretch this so it's going to be over there, and then I'll put it behind this layer, and then I'll just erase out a tiny space. Oops, I'm not on the right layer. I have to be on this layer to erase the space. Okay, that added more fingers behind there. That's fine. And I'll just darken it up. Oh, I'm not on the right layer. Let's be on this behind the layer. So I'm just darkening it up a bunch, making it look like it's way behind. So that's way better already. So I'm pretty happy with this so far. I don't want to spend too much time on each picture because it gets kind of boring probably. So I'll just kind of do last touch-ups here. I think the problem with her hand was maybe like something like that. Yeah, that was kind of the... Don't be afraid to undo. I undo all the time. So this needs to be more cone-shaped. But the wrist is kind of like those cones they put on dogs, so they don't bite their sores or whatever. And the fingers are kind of like sausages that have kinks in them. Here's the first kink, there's the other kink. I probably have to stick this up more and then have more of a kink here. Yeah, that's better. This is still kind of bad, but this needs to be out. This needs to be in. A lot of this just going by eye. And we haven't really looked at the rest of this picture. Very odd picture, actually. I never really spent much time looking at this one before. I'm just going to try to make this more symmetrical. It's very unsymmetrical. I started using symmetrical in the prompts because everything was so unsymmetrical all the time. Like the outfits. Almost looks like she's wearing another layer that's skin colored. AI does that sometimes where it's like not sure if it's skin or if it's like a fabric that looks like skin. So it kind of goes like, makes some folds that looks like this is merged in with like a layer that's her skin color. It's so weird. So this is kind of weird. I don't know what to do about this. I'm going to grab the smudge and see if I just smudge this. So actually I'll do the default values. I'll undo. So again, the spacing, or did I do this already? Probably. So I'll just change the spacing to 1. Let's just make this a bit smoother. Like, we don't need to have that many folds here. Kind of weird. And then this is odd too. So it might be better if this edge here connected up to this edge here instead of how it is kind of fading in. And it could overlap, I think, this whole thing. So what I'm going to do is what I did before, duplicate the layer. I'll take the eraser. I'm going to preserve, if you watch the crosshair, I'm going to take this edge and I'm going to stretch it way up. So, let me just zoom out so I can see which edge I want to take. I guess this one, this bright line. I'm going to get rid of all that skin colored stuff. Especially on this upper edge where it won't be touching skin. Get rid of all that peach. So that edge looks pretty good. Might be too much peach here, but whatever. So we're going to stretch that way up. Might need to actually erase some of this. This is where it's going to come up to. We don't want to see any of this stretched stuff. So go like that. Okay. Oops. So we'll take the warp transform and I'll just start stretching this up. Stretch it over so it's nice and thick. And then up. So that kind of makes that. It's still weird how it's so much brighter than the rest of the outfit. But whatever, it's fine. It's less weird than it was before. It's a very noticeable part of the outfit. That's fine. While we're here, we can do that. Belly button's funny. It's a pretty cool outfit. Oh yeah, and then this hand, at least it has, these fingers are fine, like really. This is like one of the better fingers. Just the thumb is so weird. So I'm feeling lazy, so I'm just going to curl this underneath the rest of the hand, which is okay. And since we already have a layer underneath, we'll just use that same. We're in a completely different area of the picture. That's where we were before. We wouldn't be able to do anything if we were working in that same area, because it would just cause problems. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to keep this line of the hand, the good part of the hand I'm going to keep. So that looks more or less like a normal hand. That's terrible. Okay, so I erased all that. And then I'll just take the warp. Here, it's going to be a good size, but not too big. So I guess around the eye. And I'll just kind of, let's just bring this in. Yeah, there we go. Alright, I don't want to spend too much more time, so I'll just go like this. Stretch these out a little bit, not that much. Just one, two. And that's fine. Okay. I don't feel like fixing that right now, so I'll just leave it. And then when you come back to things, you can tell what's wrong better. So come back here and I can tell that needed to be a lot thicker. It's part of the hand. Oh yeah, and then this is really bad. Okay, so we'll fix that and then we're done. So merge this down. If I had more time, I could come and look at this stuff and like think about it more and realize, you know, oh, this doesn't look right, but I'm just trying to do as many as I can right now, so that's fine. That's just where I'm at. Okay, so we gotta cover up this kind of bad thing. This layer, image. Let's see, am I missing anything? Okay. Alright, if something was really wrong, I would probably know. And we're just going to stretch, maybe stretch this piece down so it covers up all our little mistakes from before. That doesn't line up very good. I'm just going to keep stretching up so it looks better. That line. Okay. I think I need to darken this thing a bit in some places. So I'm going to take the dodge/burn and we're going to burn it. Just this layer. Oh, that's too much. Actually, I think I may have went too much already. That's probably good. I should have did one swipe over the whole thing. Yeah, that's better. Nice even burn. Okay, so we just have this kind of line, shear line. We'll take the smudge and we'll make it kind of small. 6, no, 8, 9. And we can smudge it by hand. Oops, I don't want to make that bigger. Or we can do click and then hold shift, and you can smudge in a straight line. It just keeps wanting to take the bright colors. Let's make it bigger. Oh, I know why, because we have the layers aren't merged. We can't smudge the layers together if they're not merged. Okay, sorry. Merge the layer. No, smudge. That's better. Very confused by why that wasn't working. Okay, so we smudged this a bit. We'll make this smaller. Smudge that out. Just get rid of whatever that was. We don't need it. Okay, coming up here. Boo, boo, boo. Thought I'd do like a bunch of pictures this stream, but I don't think we're gonna get very many done. So that's 2. Alright, well that hand isn't perfect, but you know, they're way better than before. So let's get another one. Yeah, I guess this one. Maybe from a different batch. We did 2 from there. Oh yeah, this one was cool. So was that one though. So these are the newer ones I've been making. That's pretty cool. I like this one though. That one's fun too. I'll fix that one. All I want to do is make this neck covering thing not have this weird flesh colored thing next to it. Okay, so one more hand. This is a cool picture. I'll probably leave her eyes alone. They're not too bad. This eye's weird, actually. They are weird. Let me just see if it looks better if I make this rounder. This iris. Yeah, I think that looks better. This is a pretty cool picture. Okay, so hands. It's a pretty good hand. It's got the right amount of digits. They are funky though. I think this one can be fixed mostly with just warping. So I'll just take a small warp. And I think this finger kind of ends here. Let's see. There's the knuckle, there's the first part, second part, third part. So a lot of the time, it just cuts the finger short. I guess it has a hard time with like pointy things. So perspective's not quite right on the hand. It has a hard time with that too. So it's a foldy thing. Fix this thing later if we have to. I'm just gonna stretch some things around till I think it looks better. It's kind of hard to explain this, but basically the fingers are kind of like tubes with kinks in them. So there's like the kink. And I guess if I say that, I should probably make it look as much like that as I can. So there's more of a fat part. There's the tip of the finger, and then there's like the kink in between right here. So I'm just trying to accentuate that a little bit. And it looks better. The only problem is like these fingers are way bigger. They start getting way bigger as you go back, which is opposite of how it should look. I mean, this finger is bigger. The middle finger is the biggest finger, right? And I feel like it's big enough. And this is just huge. Okay, I think I had too small of a tool there. So if you're removing a big thing, you want to make it as big as you can, otherwise it gets all these wiggly marks on it. Okay, that's not too bad. Pinkies might be just like a little bit too small, maybe. Let's stretch it out a bit. And then that probably means this finger's too small too. It's too long. Okay, in order to fix this, I'll need a smaller tool. 24. And I can use that in a bit. Have it coming up. Yeah, that looks way better. Okay. I might have warped this pinky though too much when I did that. That's why it's good to separate the fingers to different layers. And you can warp them around separately until you get... This is making me laugh, this hand. You can copy the fingers and warp them around until they look right. Okay, this is weird. So weird. I appreciate what it was trying to do though, like with that. These fingers are crossed, and she's got her hair in between the crossed fingers. So that's pretty cool. I think I'll try to keep doing that. even though it might not look right. I'll try to keep that going and fix this. So this dark thing is, I probably thought there was like another finger that was going to go behind there or something. Where's her thumb? She's doing this, so her pinky's facing the screen. The thumb is pointing behind her. Sometimes I have to like hold my hands the same way the person is holding their hands to try to understand the way they're pointing. Okay, so I'm going to try to get rid of this dark area. So I duplicate the layer. This time I'll just erase the dark thing. What happened here? That's way too small. So I'm just going to erase the dark thing. And it doesn't matter if I get the hair and stuff that much. I just want to get rid of this darkness. If you take the eraser and you go like to the edge, you take that little circle, the little circle, and you kind of point it a little bit over the edge where you want it to erase, and then bring back. It works a little bit good to get like a harder edge. Okay, I'm going to make that smaller. So yeah, I'm just holding Control and Scroll to zoom. And that's like way fast. There's no faster way to move around the canvas. And with Shift and Scroll to move left and right, and just regular scroll up and down. And you can fly around the canvas like so fast if you wanted to. I can go from this side to this side. Anyways. So, okay, so I've erased that area. I'm going to pull this behind. Okay, that's a bit too big. Okay, that might have been... Maybe it should have a bit of darkness. Let's just see how that looks. Yeah, maybe like a bit. Yeah, I think that looks okay. Maybe a tiny bit too much. Slightest bit. Okay, I can always smudge tool, and when I commit to this wave transform, it'll blur it a bit. And that's what this no halo is about. It's like, I think that's trying to cut down on the blur. So I'll do this wave transform and it'll change from quite pixelated to much smoother. This is so funky. So this is actually the edge of the hand. This part, this like pinky that goes behind, is actually like the lower edge of the whole hand. And this extra stuff, this part's okay. That's part of the wrist or the palm. But this part is like an extra finger that got made somehow. So can I warp? Yeah, I can warp around that. So I'm just going to erase up to this line, sort of thing, and then I'll push that up. Okay, make sure you're on the behind layer, and then we're going to push that up. Yeah. This line was confusing me, but this is where the hair comes out and is slightly a little bit in front of that finger. Alright, this is kind of complicated. So this finger just needs to be thicker, I think, and maybe like up more. Anyways, so we got the fingers isolated. We'll let the thumb be behind the hand and just give ourselves a break and not draw the thumb. Oh no, that didn't get saved. Okay, whatever, we can do it again. Or we'll do something else. Okay, the changes are there on the bottom layer, but not on the top layer. Okay, well that complicates things a little bit. I don't know how that happened, but it had something to do with, it didn't commit the changes until after I copied the layer. So we're going to take that hand. I'm just going to make sure that that work is not lost. Paste in place. So you always want to commit your changes with the warp transform before you start doing other things, otherwise that can happen. We saved it though. Okay. That was a close one, because if I had merged these layers, we would have lost that hand. But we got it. Saved it. Alright, now we can merge. Yeah, I want to merge them, and then I can start warping these fingers around. This finger needs to be thicker here in this segment. And longer. I should have a bit of a curve. And thicker at the base. A little bit. Okay, the nail's really long on this one, but then it's not long at all on this one. So I could go either way. I could make them all shorter, or I could make them this one longer. Make it this one longer. That's easier. It probably looks cooler. So there's the first crease. There's a little bump there. This finger is funny. So luckily it didn't mush them together too hard. We can separate them without having to do layers. Making layers is kind of a pain, but sometimes it's the only way to fix things. Make a pile of layers and start hacking away at them. Okay. So I'm just gonna make these look more like fingernails and less like Edward Scissorhands. This one's probably a bit too big. Okay, I might have made this finger too long. Okay. Alright, that's probably good for now. Let's see if I like the hand a little fatter there. Yeah, I feel like the knuckles need to come out here. Such an odd picture. Yeah, I guess that looks okay. Yeah, it's a really hard hand to make look right. I feel like maybe this darkness needs to come a bit more up. Maybe not though. Let's just look undo, undo, redo, redo. I think one was better. We gotta try to line the knuckles up a bit more. This should probably get squeezed in actually. Okay, that's all I'm gonna do, other than fix this little bump coming out here, which is a small thing, but maybe it was better with it. Cool. I just want to sketch this part of her this way, to the left a little bit, which is pretty easy to do. We'll just make this big enough to kind of cover it. And then just want to give her a smaller shoulder. Okay. I kind of think this is too bright. See if I can smudge this a bit so it looks better. Maybe. This line probably needs to move in a little bit. Like so. Is that a reflection? I think that's actually the reflection. Okay. It's too bright though. Just smudge it a bit. Turn the opacity down on the smudge so it's not so strong. And just smudge in here. Alright. So that's this pic. That's the third one. Wow, that took way longer than I expected. I thought I would get 1,000,000 done. And here I am at 3 in the morning with 3 done. Okay. So we'll commit to that. Alright, so we're going to do something different now, since we've already gone for almost an hour, and that's what I was aiming for. So I wanted to fix that. I'll do that later. All I'll do is I'll erase this skin tone thing, flap of fabric or neck, and then I'm just going to stretch this red latex neck thingy over to cover it, and that'll take like 2 seconds. Okay, so that's something else we can do. So I made these ladies with looking glass, and they're pretty cool, but a lot of the times the faces are bad on these things. So we'll take one with a bigger face on it. That one's really cool. Okay, so the eyes on these are always bad. This is a really cool picture though. I wish I had Pros Painter right now, but it's broken. Well, it's not broken, it's just down at the moment. I'll try this one. It is like one of the better ones. And it's funny, even though Looking Glass is technically like inferior AI to Stable, I find the hands are almost better sometimes. Maybe not this time, but I find it has like this hand almost seems better. Like it has the pinky, it has this finger, it has the next finger behind it, it has one more finger, and then it has, I guess that was going to be the thumb, but it seems way closer than sometimes Stable Diffusion. It just looks like a alien like mess. Okay, so when you what we're gonna do is put a face on, a new face on her. We might actually keep the mouth and nose, but we're definitely gonna have to fix these eyes. What's the downside to most AIs is the eyes are really bad. That's a good example of bad eyes. It's bad face in general. Actually, that one's fine. Oh yeah, this one had like this weird hair thing I was gonna fix, but I don't think I'll do that. Not today. Really good picture and then just really bad face. And also really good hands for AI. Like these are kind of better than the stable diffusion hands. And this is DALL-E 1. Those are bad hands. It cuts them off a lot of the time, I guess. That's a really good picture, actually. I was surprised by this one. That's really good for looking glass. Okay, that's the one we're gonna go. Oh yeah, we should probably close this. We exported all those, so we don't need to save them. Alright, so I'm gonna put a face on there. And so AI is bad at making faces except for artbreeder, portrait mode, which can make really good faces, especially the eyes. Like, it's so good at making eyes, nothing else can come close to how good it is. So what we're going to do is look at this face, take note of the angle. She's turned and looking down. So that's the main thing we're going to have to match. That's kind of close. More turned though. That might be too turned. So we need a bit of space between this eye and the edge of the head. Let's see if I have a face. We could make a face too to match it. But I don't really feel like doing that. This face is kind of close. It's facing the wrong way, but we could fix that. Let's see if there's anything else more. You can hear the pig snoring. Or that one, but the hair doesn't match very good. Okay, yeah, the hair kind of matches. We could like work with that. We mostly just want the eyes. So I think those eyes... Whatever, we'll just try it. They should work. So we'll drag that onto our GIMP. And she's looking the wrong way, so we'll right click here, and it's probably going to be on this for you. Unify transform. Actually, I've never used that. So I used flip. And I flipped it that way. Okay, so I'm just going to get rid of some of the layer's opacity so I can see through it. That's up here. Opacity. So let's go a bit down. So now I gotta resize it, so I right click this spot. Scale. Oops, I should have had this. Okay, reset. Lock it. I don't want to work with face too much right now. Not right now. Okay, I have to rotate it so they line up. A little bit bigger, I guess. Okay, like that. Now I'll rotate it. So that's right click on this spot and then get the rotate. Try to line them up. Okay. So then I'll try to put them right on top of each other. I'll put the left eye right on top of the other left eye. Then I'll take the warp transform. So I've got this face on top of this face. I want to see both faces. So right around 80. big warp, but not too big to warp this eye too much. So you just want to be out of range of that eye when you're warping. Oops, I shouldn't have did that. Okay. So we just want to make sure both the eyes look kind of the same. Okay, just need to pull that up a bit. And maybe pull that over. So try to just... There's a straight line that goes across the bottom of the eye. That eye. You kind of want to look at that. And then make this curve a mirror of this curve on that straight line. It's also like that. Anyways. And then you can always drag the eyelashes up to make them nicer. Okay, so this nose is kind of pointing the wrong way for this face. I'll just morph it down. I think that was too small. Let's be a little bit bigger. I don't want to warp the eyes. So that's the main thing. Okay, and then the lips. Gotta line up. Okay. So we got the bottom of the nose lined up, but not the top part. Let's make this a bit smaller so we don't warp the eyes around. We warped it a lot. That's okay though. It doesn't matter because we're only going to use some aspects of the artbreeder face. Mostly the eyes, but some of the skin texture will come through, the skin tone, and all that. So what I'm going to do is I'm making it so the artbreeder face matches right up, the edge of the jaw matches right up to the face underneath it. So I'm just taking my warp and I'm pushing it so it lines up. It's kind of hard to see both at the same time. It's kind of a trip to like get your mind to look at both layers at the same time and warp one on top of the other. Her eyebrows are way up higher than the other lady. Hers are way down there. Hers are way up there. That might be odd. So it looks kind of funny right now, but we're not actually using the whole face. We're only using some parts of it. It'll look much better later. I'm gonna bring the eyebrows down to where they are on the face underneath, and then I'll line up the hairlines a bit more. I don't even know if I should do this and just keep the old eyebrows. Okay, so we'll bring this hair. So where's the part? The part on her is here, and the part on her is there. So we gotta warp a bunch. We're gonna warp the eyes. That's all that matters. So let's bring that up there. And then this is down. Okay, and this is up here. But I think I am warping things too much. So I'll make this smaller and just do more smaller movements. Okay, I pretty much got that lined up. So I guess I should get right in here and bring these eyebrows way down to the eye, as close as I can get down there. So I don't have to erase so much stuff. Otherwise I'll be erasing like so much of this artbreeder face. The eyebrows have a big effect on how the face looks. Okay, so I'm going to stretch this out obviously so it looks better. Okay, so that looks weird of course, but I think we're done here. So now comes the cool part. We got the eyes on, that's mostly what we were going for. This eye might have to squish in a tiny bit. Look right. Okay, so now we're going to take the eraser. I'll make it quite big. And I'll make the opacity really low. Actually, at first, I'm going to make it full. And I'm going to get rid of that like outer edge background. I'll get rid of the chin too. And most of the hair, because we're just getting the face. So you can already tell that what we did is going to be useful. So we'll make this much smaller now. And maybe not full opacity. So we'll go down to 10. And we'll start erasing parts of the artbreeder face. So I'm going to start with the forehead here, with the hairline. And I guess the I'm going to turn the opacity up a little bit to get rid of this hair. Because the Looking Glass hair was really dark, like black. That's not always the way it is. So this time I'm going to have to erase most of the artbreeder hair. I like to keep it because, oops, went too far. I like to keep it because it's got good texture. But you have to get rid of it if it's not going to work with the color. Okay, so now I'm going to make the opacity really low. Just see what happens if I go like this. Okay, I just want to line that mouth up better. Oh yeah, I did a bad job. It's not lined up. So there's the edge of the artbreeder mouth. Just going to line that up. Okay. Okay, got my eraser. I got, oops. Opacity 10. I'm going to do the jaw and the cheeks a little bit. It's too big, better get smaller. Don't want to erase the eyes, that was the whole point of doing this, but everything else you kind of want to have halfway between your artbreeder face and your, actually I think I'll leave that. You want some things halfway between the two. So that's why we take the light eraser. In the space, the artbreeder face is way too soft for the Looking Glass face, and that's a problem most of the time when you try to put artbreeder face on something. It's so soft. It's like it was taken through the softest filter in the world. I'm not sure what that is, if that's just people's preferences like leaked into how every face on artbreeder comes out. But anyways, to fix that, we're gonna go filter, make sure we're on the artbreeder face, enhance, sharpen. Let's see, what did I use last? Oh yeah. Okay, so not that much, but okay, I'll just do the defaults. So let's crank the radius. So that makes it look like the kind of face that should be on here because of how dark it is. Before, after. Yeah, I don't want to lose too much detail, but I do want a lot of sharpness. Like that. Okay. So maybe I'll do 97%. Okay. So there's the old face, there's our new face. So much better. It's funny because it looks so bad for so long, but then when you're done, it's like, oh, there you go. That's better. Okay, so that's fine. Her ear is a little weird. She can't hear me say that because her ear is so weird. So it's fine. Maybe I'll try to fix this for her. I don't know. I haven't really worked on ears very much. This is kind of hard, actually. I feel like there's got to be a piece going in here, right? Is that what's wrong? And then like that out there. Maybe I could just cover her ear up. That might be the smarter thing to do. Okay, let's see. Yeah, that might be how ears are shaped. Something like that. It's like a little Y-shaped thing. So confused. That's better than it was before, actually. Still pretty bad, though. I don't even know what's going on here. How are ears shaped? Actually, that's not too bad. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to grab a little bit of hair here. Copy that, paste it. New layer. That's right here. I probably did this before without explaining. But when you copy and paste something, it's floating. Floating selection. And then most of the time you want to do a new layer, otherwise it just sticks to whatever is below it. So new layer. Layer to image size. I know it's kind of clunky, but you get used to it after a while. And then I just kind of want to see what it looks like if I like bring that hair there. Yeah, that's so much better. Okay. Is that too much? Undo, undo, undo. Let's see what was the best. I think. Yeah, that's fine. Okay, I like that. It's a pretty cool outfit. Kind of like superhero kind of thing. Oops, I'm on the wrong layer. Okay, let's just merge all this down. Just a little bit. Looking Glass is pretty good at drawing people, like, other than the eyes. It always screws up eyes. Like, how hard is it to draw eyes? You can have like a database of 1,000,000 eyes and then just paste those on in the right situation. It would look better. But anyways, the AI is learning. It's doing its thing. So I feel like this finger just needs to be up, covering this finger a little bit more, and maybe this finger needs to be coming down a little bit longer. And also, this crease, that shouldn't be there. So I'll take the smudge. Excuse me. Let's get a tiny little smudge and just get rid of that crease. Maybe bring the darkness underneath it more. Okay, we'll fix that. So I'm going to duplicate the layer. I'm going to bring this finger up over that finger behind it. So in order to do that, I'll erase the finger behind. Oh, I need a full opacity. You can also erase in a straight line by holding Shift and like that. Okay, so I will take the finger that I left and I will shift it up. So there's our first crease, I guess. AKA the knuckle. But you can just leave that. Maybe it's a bit smaller so I can round out the tip of the finger a little bit better. guess her finger should probably curl a bit, so it looks more natural. So that's that. I probably should have stopped there. This one. Might be too long now. Okay, that's fine. Let me see what's going on behind here. So we pretty much have to use this to be the next finger, which is fine. It's another picture where they're holding their hair in between their fingers. That's funny. 2 in a row, or 2. Whereas normally I never get any of those. Actually makes it easier. You can just be like, oh well, the reason the fingers don't look right is because her hair is covering it. And the AI does that a lot, where it just like hides the hands behind something because it's like, oh, I can't draw that. I'm the same way, so I don't blame it. I need to merge these layers. So make sure you commit your warp transform before you merge layers, or you'll lose work. There's nothing worse than that. Okay, I don't want to spend too much time here. So we're almost done the stream. If you enjoyed it or learned something, like this video and subscribe if you want to see more stuff like this. Yeah, so that looks better. I mean, it's alright. Is this picture done yet? Let's see. We put a face on it. Kind of got an Angelina Jolie vibe. So if I could use Prose Painter, I would redo the hair. I would select the hair and I would tell it to draw realistic hair, because it kind of drew the hair as, or maybe that's a necklace. But anyways, the edge of the hair kind of looks like latex. So it got confused by what material this was supposed to be. That's okay though. Alright, that's a cool picture, I like that. And hey, there's like a little heart here. Didn't notice that. Let's see if we can turn that into more of a heart. Maybe we made it into a heart accidentally. There we go. Alright. Perfect. And I have to think of a title for this piece, but I don't know. If you have a suggestion, leave it in the comments, and maybe I will use it as the title and put it on my DeviantArt. So, fixed. Alright, let's do an overview of everything that we did. Look how slow. I need a new laptop. Alright. I like that picture. So I have a lot of artbreeder faces that I've made and saved. I knew one of those would work on one of these. Okay, and let's see some other things I've made. We looked at those ones. We didn't really look at these ones though. I made these with stable diffusion. And a lot of these have hands that I wanted to fix. Obviously it took way too long. So this one has too many fingers. Maybe the correct amount of fingers, but they're just at the wrong angles. That would have been an easy one to fix actually. The shiny latex makes it actually easier, because you can tell, like, I think it makes it easier for the AI too, because it makes it easier for it to know, like, oh, okay, this is supposed to be this finger, and this is supposed to be this finger, whereas if it was like a softer material, it wouldn't be so defined, and it might be easier for the AI to do that. so that's not too bad. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Oh, that's right. But then this 6. She's got real stretchy fingers. It's like a Stretch Armstrong. And her fingers are okay. That one just like melds into the other one, and then that thumb bends up. And those fingers are pretty good. They just don't have enough like fatness there. And this is not too bad. I would just morph these two fingers over a bit and maybe make this a little more bulgy. And same, actually this is pretty good. I might just take these fingers and move them out a little bit more. Okay, so that's just like, it almost looks like, it's a lobster claw, but it also looks like a corn stalk sprouting, or like a spread of wheat. That's a real lobster hand there. But on the plus side, there's fingers to work with, so you can copy and paste the fingers to fix them. That's so bad. Alright, that's the end of the stream. Thanks for watching. Like and subscribe, and I'll see you guys next time. Bye.